Hey guys, Dijon McCain here. Very, very special occasion. Man, the person on my right is a friend, a personal friend of mine. And not only that, a lover, a musician, a gamer. Say that twice, a gamer. But again, he's my friend, DoloDuceDuke.
Hey man.
What's up, man?
Yo,
What's going on?
man.
What's going on, man? I got a lot of love for this guy here. A lot of love.
Word, man. I got a lot of love for you too, man. It's been fucking ages, man. I've known you for upward of like 6-7 years now. You know what I'm saying?
What was it? I was a freshman and you was a senior.
I was a senior. I was a fourth year. It wasn't my last year, but I was a senior.
Like a super senior.
Yeah,
like,
I was super duper senior.
Okay, so just carry the one.
I was very popular on campus. I was very popular.
That's what we reduce it to. But look, we have so much to discuss, man. First and foremost, congratulations, dude. Like,
thank you.
This has been a hell of a run. Like, I don't even know where to start. You in Coachella,
That's a fact.
shooting music videos out there. Y'all got thousands of streams, the shoes at the door. Shout out to Dean and the whole tribe. The content is blowing up. Man, the album, we're gonna get into that for sure. But you also got a movie dropping this Friday.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Bro, how are you just feeling with everything that's going on in the recession? Like, you're doing all of these things by the grace of God.
I ain't gonna lie to you, man. This whole year has been fucking awesome, bro. Because, like, as it pertains to this year, I feel like I always knew that it was gonna happen. I feel like this year was kind of like, I had a feeling at the beginning of the year that this year was gonna be great. We shot that movie like 2 or 3 years ago now, you know what I'm saying? And I knew it was gonna come out eventually. I knew what it did. It was gonna be an event. I knew by April that I was gonna be dropping my project back in October of 2022. So I prepared for it. I was just telling them earlier, it's like during that time, I was like making up my bed, waking up at a reasonable time, you know what I'm saying? This was in between jobs too. So like I was just doing what I needed to get in the position to get my mind right, to do content. And yeah, just reaping the fruits of my labor, you know what I'm saying? This shit is hard work, bro. Like, there's a lot of people helping us out right now, which I really appreciate. But like, before they was helping me, I was setting up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's the fruits.
I want to circle back just for a moment, because you said you knew you were going to drop this project right around this time, but last year in October of 2022,
yes,
right? So in this season, there is inflation. There's still the pandemic going on, you know, mental health, suicides. Like, there's all of these things going on. Like, what kept you, I guess, spiritually inclined to be driven enough to manifest the moment, the present moment in which we're in now?
I mean, shit, 2020, bro. Like, I survived through the worst of it. You know what I'm saying? And there was a time where I was in my deepest video game coma. I wasn't going outside, I was staying inside playing the game, I wasn't creating, and I was watching it break me down. Now, I could have continued that, you know what I'm saying? These folks, they'll tell you that they saw a little bit of that, you know, depression look like, or I could just get over it, bro. Like, I hate to sound like it's not like a real thing, but as soon as I decided to just do what I needed to do, things happen. You know, I'm still dealing with a lot of shit, you know what I'm saying? Money is still tight here and there. You know what I'm saying? But there's resources here for us to do bigger things. And, like, I can't let that get in the way as long as I'm out here. So I think it was really the decision.
It's,
shit.
As y'all said before, the tribe, it's hard to be an artist.
When the rent is due right now, $1,000 nickel.
And as we tied in full circle with your project, Sophomore Year.
Yes, sir.
Man, I gotta be very honest in saying I'm impressed. I was blown away. I listened to the project. I always support my friends, but when I heard this project, I went into it without thinking about that you were my friend. Like, I just wanted to be just a listener.
Yeah.
And man, it really resonated with me. You know, we got so much to dive into. I got my notes.
Yeah.
So much to dive into.
I gotta tell you, I appreciate you for saying that. I've been getting like good receptions on the album. You know what I'm saying? Of course, as our artists, that's one thing that we always worry about. Is like whether or not something would be like received well. But like, bro, it's been like surprising how much people really fuck with the album. You know what I'm saying? I'm extremely proud of it. You know what I'm saying? Mixed it myself, fucking engineered it myself, recorded with these guys. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got up on the song, and I appreciate the whole process of it, man. It was a cool thing, real cool.
Just working. So I gotta ask you, why sophomore year? Like, as we think about school, right? You know, I said I met you when I was a freshman. Arguably, they say freshman year and senior year is the most funnest, but sophomore, junior is the hardest because you're in the middle of it. But why was it important for you to choose sophomore year for this project?
Dope. So, in order to answer that, I'm gonna talk about freshman year. So, the concept of freshman year, it was a project that I dropped when I first moved out here. I was fresh out of college, so I had college kid swagger all over me. I couldn't rinse it off of me. And I was like, fuck it. This is the freshman year of the rest of my life. I dropped the project. It was ass. It's not ass. You know, artists are always hard on themselves. But it's really just the idea of like, I think what I needed was the boost to get me back into rapping. So sophomore year, in the progress of the rest of my life, right? I know way more. You know what I'm saying? We've been on movies. We got a movie coming out this Friday. I got so much more knowledge of how the industry works. I'm not super far along, but like I've been in a few things that got millions of views. You've been in a few things that got millions of views, and I'm starting to understand exactly what this job is going to be in the future. So I'm not in my senior year, I'm not in my junior year, but I am at that nice sophomore year of the rest of my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can honestly say. So I think that was the idea behind it.
At what point, though, did you start to appreciate, like, because you sound like you're appreciative now of the sophomore year, you know? And oftentimes when we're in the process, when we're in the struggle, you mentioned bills and depression, you know? At what point did you start to appreciate, I guess, your own journey, your own lived experience enough to be like, hey, this project is going to be sophomore year?
I think,
like, what led to that?
Going back to the pandemic, like, you know, because we're still technically in the pandemic, but surviving the most of it, and then, you know, persevering through different things like moving back and forth, or, you know, friends, all of these things, relationship status, all of these things. I think just a combination of knowledge, you know what I'm saying? People follow my example, even if they don't always come up to me and ask me personally. But then again, there are also a ton of people who ask me, yo, how do you do this? How do you do that? And I put them on game. You know, I know more things than a freshman at this point, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Like, I always tell them, like J. Cole, like a young Simba, where
something like that.
I
feel like I remember you as a freshman. I feel like you didn't necessarily ask a lot, but I was hanging out with y'all because I saw y'all was hungry enough to do things, and I was like, here, I'll show you the way. Come to Cass, come here. You know what I'm saying?
He did. Yeah, it was a resource for us, huge back then.
I like to say that I'm more or less that same person in LA as well. You know what I'm saying? So.
Listening to your music, one of the things that really stood out for me, and that I was surprised, like I said, I know you, but I don't know your music. So I'm listening to it, and I'm still discovering you through the music. But I noticed that, like, you're multifaceted, man. Like, there's DoloDuceDuke, there's Anthony, you know, man, I don't know, maybe it's a player or whatever. It's all of these different people, but...
I can give you an explanation. So I have a few different personas. So DoloDuceDuke is kind of like who I am, but in DoloDuceDuke, I have my yiggity yak voice. That's when it goes very high pitch and I'm talking like this. And then I have
so you do that?
I do that.
When you're making music? Okay. So
I do that. Because to be honest with you, I don't like the way I talk. Yeah, the sound of my voice when I talk, that's kind of like one of the biggest things artists have to get over.
Listening to yourself? Yeah, okay.
So everybody has to find a swagger about it. Even the people who just naturally talk cool, they have to learn that. And that's why it works for them. Like Juice. Juice can get on a song and just be himself. It'll be fine. He has the voice for that.
Yeah.
Me, I sound like I could sound, it's not an impressive voice.
Those personas that you created.
So I
that
created
it's like
personas.
more confidence through the persona.
Exactly. So I got Yiggity Yak voice, I got my son of a bitch voice, and I got my
Son of a bitch. It sound like you about to, I don't know.
son of a bitch is when I clench my throat and I have to talk like, I don't know. It's kind of like my Kendrick impersonation.
Yo, it's close. It's not spot on, but it's close.
But people would say I sound like Kendrick for a reason. So I don't know if I actually did that on purpose, but I knew that I would like my voice if I did that. So
when talking about your different personas, man, there's so many of them that intrigues me. But I want to talk about who Anthony is, because to me, listening to the album, it sounds like Anthony in sophomore year was at a point where you said it yourself, nerd, family thought I was soft. These are different issues of masculinity that you are addressing, but I want to ask you, and even for the people who don't know you, like, who is Anthony, maybe even now, or who was Anthony like for sophomore year?
Who am I? Okay, so if I could, it's so hard to answer that question for yourself.
And I know it's broad.
I am trying to be the humblest and most successful artist that I can be. I know that I'm a nice guy. I know I'm a sweetheart. I know I fuck with people like extremely, like the people who I love, I show a lot of love to. You know what I'm saying? And from what people tell me, like, I'm genuine. So I try to come off as very genuine. That's why I try to tell the truth. If I'm saying like I'm a nerd, I get it. Self-deprecation. It's not like I don't do that. I'll never shy away from that. But I'm probably saying that because I'm really nerding out on some shit. You know what I'm saying? I love Star Wars. I love Dragon Ball Z. I like to nerd out. And then when I'm saying things like I'm humble, it's because I try to be. You know what I'm saying? This is what I want to be. I want people to say these things about me. So when people tell me I'm a good person, I take it as a compliment. I work at those things. You know what I'm saying? That's who I am.
Do you feel like you get to be yourself, like authentically you enough? Like minus the, obviously, like we all want, critically acclaimed. We all want the boos, right?
Yeah.
I mean the cheers. We all want the cheers. But do you feel like you get to be authentically yourself enough? And because as a musician, you kind of got to get into that zone of being confident.
Hell yeah. No, I don't get to be myself enough. But I get to be myself just enough. You know what I'm saying? Even in this project. So like the music I was making music that had a lot of bass, a lot of 808s. When I came into the tribe, I was rapping over boom bap primarily. But the reason for that, this could probably be attested to Tony, to be honest with you. He's like, your music got to sound like this. It's got to play in the club. It's got to, And after so many years of like, man, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about. Maybe he was right. You know what I'm saying? And I dropped the project as it is because I did want people that get genuine enjoyment out of just like nodding their head to it. You know what I'm saying? Being able to twerk to it or dance to it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I do listen to that music and I understand the power behind it. So for me to be like somebody who's always like on boom bap status with everybody, I wouldn't be as impressed with myself if that's all I did. So,
and like I said, I salute you for that. There's this quote where it's like, if you live by the cheers, you'll die by the boos. And I think in entertainment, it's prevalent for us. You see people all the time die by the boos or going through it. Jonathan Majors. It's another example.
Oh, that mercy.
Of dying by the booze. You know what I mean?
Dying by the booze. But yeah, it's really balanced. You know what I'm saying? Because I definitely plan on doing more or being more of myself in my music, and like telling the stories that I want to tell. Make no mistake, I told the story I wanted to tell, but even more. You know what I'm saying? So
does that entire process of telling stories, thinking about the listener, like that, I imagine that makes you think about society more. And so if we go into your music specifically, first, in the beginning, RWRL, you seem to be questioning society.
Yeah. So that's one song. So RWRL is right, wrong, right, left, and I'm so happy that so many people they literally type to me is like right, wrong, right, left, question mark, and it's like, yeah, you figured it out. Yeah. It's not that hard, but yeah.
You foreshadowed it a little in the song.
Absolutely. That is a song that I made primarily for myself. So the way I set up my project is that I make songs for other people, and then I make songs, that's in the middle. It's like for me and them, and then songs that are just for me. There's nothing that anybody could have told me about that song that would have made me change it if I didn't want to change it. That song was just for me.
You.
So I'm extremely happy that a lot of people really, really fuck with that song. So yeah, in that song, I was getting political.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, talk to me about, like, where were you mentally, like, when you were writing this song? Like,
I just wanted to talk my intelligence, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to speak about the things that I knew about and, question the society of it all at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm talking about, like, right, wrong, right, left, and I was like, what's the difference between right and wrong? You know what I'm saying? The gray areas where most of us live anyway, and people could be doing totally wrong and perceive it as right. People could be doing totally right, and it could be perceived as wrong by somebody else.
It's a toxic trait, though.
It's
right?
a toxic, but it's social.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All of these are words at the end of the day. So when I'm talking about the difference between the Republicans, the Democrats on the song, where I was like, am I right or am I left? It don't matter who the fuck I vote for when most people seek a nigga's death. You know what I'm saying? We understand the political climate that we're in. Like, we got Donald Trump out of office, you know what I'm saying? Good riddance. But then we could easily point at Joe Biden's like, well, what the fuck has he done since being in office, I'm not even that politically aware to, like, really dive into that sort of shit. But I could definitely tell you, it's like the best interest of the Negro isn't in the Democrats or the Republic.
Who is it in?
It's in us.
What do you mean by that, though?
Like,
we got a lot of people who... I guess it's the topic of voting. Like, a lot of people think that we shouldn't be voting, right? A lot of black people think we shouldn't be voting.
There's a lot of the tribe that don't vote proudly.
And so I know you're not, like, necessarily saying, like, don't, like, you're not telling people not to vote or to vote, but, like, if it's in us, what does that mean?
I think if I can answer, like, where would it be in? Well, it would be in the idea of breaking down political parties down to what they really mean, right? They are just basically two different sides with agendas. So a third political party made specifically around either socialists or Negroes in general, or black people, let me not say Negroes, for black people, I think that'd be the best thing. But that's beside the point, because I don't know if that'll actually work. I'm not a politician. What I do know is that in the context of the song, when people are like, Democrats are this or Republicans are that, most people are talking out of their ass like I am, but they will never admit it to you. So that's, I think, what I'm trying to touch on in the song.
So you saying, like, the power comes within, like...
I think it comes within, and if everybody's allowed to have an opinion, that's my hot take on it. You know what I'm saying? It don't matter who you vote for at the end of the day. They really don't have your best interest at heart. They might be... The best thing that we could do is vote locally more than focus so much on whether or not we're a Democrat or a Republican, because at the end of the day, these are just words. Right. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I think that's more or less how I feel about, or the point I tried to get across, with that part of the song, yeah.
Going off of that, victim mentality, something is huge,
That's a fact.
I don't want to largely associate it within the black community, but within all communities, victim mentality, and it's easy to say, like, why, and poking holes. Within this song at all, were you like, I guess, did you think about the mindset of a victim, like with right or wrong, right or left? Because I guess if someone did something wrong, they could easily justify it by saying that it's right. And I just felt like that was right on par. So it starts to get a little, it's very abstract.
I think that because, again, I made the song for myself. So I think who I was considering the most when it came to this song, it's hard to say. Like, I would like to say I was considering nobody. I was making it for myself. I did it because it's just what I wanted to. but I think I was considering people who would dare to listen to it and try to learn something from what I'm saying. So whether it be somebody who claims victim or has a victim mentality a lot, or somebody who's right on the nose about always calling themselves out for their shit, I think I wanted people to get the most reaction out of this song in a way that's like, okay, I never thought about it this way. You know what I'm saying? It's not even like, I don't consider that the song extremely deep. I do consider it extremely technical, if that makes sense. And, you know, because deep is Uncle Jeffrey.
I was gonna say, what's the difference? Yeah.
Deep is Uncle Jeffrey. You know what I'm saying? I'm cutting deep. I'm on deep subject matter with that. Right, wrong, right, left is just very technical. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of talking points in that one song.
It's thoughts, like thought.
Exactly.
This is just like, I'm venting, but
It's the beginning of those
perceive it.
conversations in a lot of ways. So
Okay. Well, speaking of toxic, one of my favorite songs on the project, Summer Fling.
you fuck with Summer Fling?
Summer Fling. I like Summer Fling. I think
fuck
it's
with that.
it's a hit. I don't think it's a hit. Summer Fling is a hit, and oh man, there's so many questions with that one, but I gotta ask the one that everyone wants to know. Are you in a relationship, Dolo? Is DoloDuceDuke in a relationship, or are you just looking for a Summer Fling thing?
And you know, man, DoloDuceDuke, man, when it comes to the ladies, he's a nomad, man. He can't tie down. He can't consolidate anywhere for anyone.
This woke brother in this dashiki
No,
talking about a nomad. Okay, brother, go ahead.
No,
go
man.
ahead.
To be honest with you, my career has to come first. So before I came out here, and you caught the tail end of my college relationship, I was in a relationship and I was about to say fuck all of life. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go ahead and be like a social worker. I'm finna marry this girl. She literally had kids. You know what I'm saying? I was finna play stepdad. I was finna say fuck
This
all
is
of
back in
this
college,
life.
right? Back in college.
Once I got out of that relationship, I said to myself, I'll never dedicate that much time to a relationship ever again. And I say, even if that means I can't be in a relationship until I am where I want to be, then so be it. You know what I'm saying? So I think at that moment I decided, like, girls they as much as I love women, they have to be secondary to what I got going on. So
At this phase in your life right now?
I tell every girl I'm involved with, like, we more than likely will never be together. How do you feel about that?
You just broke so many hearts, Dolo. You just broke so many. Just look at the camera. You just
What am I supposed to say?
No,
Like,
dude,
you want to know what's crazy?
We love you.
So, one thing I try to at least pride myself on is my honesty. You know what I'm saying? If I can't be extremely honest, I'll probably not speak. But, like, if you ask about it, then I gotta be honest. And, you know, I say that to girls, and the reaction isn't always positive.
What's the reaction?
It's not always positive. Right?
What's the reaction when you say that
Sometimes
to girls?
It's just a look. They never get extremely, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna fuck you up about it, or I'm gonna beat you up about it, something like that. But it's always on the lines of, like, how dare you say that? Like, you think that's actually gonna work? And they might not even be getting the point. It's like, it's not even about you. It's about my career. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I say again, if I do it again, fuck all of this shit. I'm gonna just dedicate my life to you, my queen. And then it doesn't work out in the end, because that's what happened. Like, a girl broke up with me in college. Imagine, like, me dedicating my entire life to somebody, and then you breaking up with me now. I just about commit suicide. I get it. You know, I get that mindset that people get in when trying to be tied down to somebody and it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? It's a scary thing. These are not perfect answers I'm giving to you. These are just my answers of where I'm at.
So is the decision to, I guess, remain, you know, on yourself, right? The decision to remain not in a relationship is somewhat based off of trauma from your past relationship.
So to answer your question, bring it back around, I'm just looking for a summer fling. I don't want to break nobody's heart. I don't want nobody to break my heart. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just looking for fun, and I want to see if I could be compatible with somebody going in the same direction as me and understanding the direction that I'm going in. I can't afford too much in between, you know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping I'll be able to get to that point in, you know, my mid-30s. But for the rest of my 20s, this is what I'm on, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah.
Balance, sounds like,
It's
right?
all in balance, man.
It's, I guess, listening to the music, like, and hearing you speak right now, it's like at this phase of the chapter where it's like self versus self. That was like
Hell yeah.
a theme for me specifically. You had a line where it say, "Don't lose balance, young king."
Don't lose balance.
Don't
young
lose
king,
balance,
too
young
much
king.
talent. Yep, absolutely.
And then I just couldn't help to think about like maybe it was demons. Like, you know, in this particular song was that that's I Got Love, right?
Yeah.
I Got Love. That's in the middle intersection. Something interesting happens where another one of your personas comes in. So is that persona in this like explain that to us? Like,
So-
you know, dumb that down.
Literally. So like the yiggity yak voice wanted to talk to son of a bitch. You know what I'm saying? My two personas were talking to themselves. And I think it was important to like bring the dynamics of how my range works. You know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk to myself, but I kind of wanted to talk almost down to myself as like, because they were fighting. Hey, that's what I was trying to
ask
convey.
you, are they fighting, right? It's two personas fighting against one another, and it sounds like one is trying to keep you down, and the other one is trying to.
That can sort of be conveyed, but what I was really trying to convey was these are the two personas that I fight with whenever I come to a song. So like when I approach a song, it's always like, well, how am I going to rap on this? Am I going to use this voice or am I going to use this voice? And I think using whatever voice I end up using is kind of like I always feel like I'm cheating on the other voice. You know what I'm saying? And I know that's crazy to say, but I think in this song, especially along with lines like too much talent left to offer, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to basically bring all of these things into one song. And I wanted it to start off the third semester specifically because that's the semester. Who am I?
Yeah.
This is who I am. I am this voice, I'm that voice, and I am this sound, that sound. I'm that little like Pimp C sample that was in the middle, and then I'm all of these like club bangers. That's what that whole section was about.
Multitude. Dolo is not monolithic. This is everything that makes Dolo.
Exactly. I tried to put it all in there. The one thing I probably could have put in there to add on is me singing or something. You know what I'm saying?
Another version of you.
Exactly. But I Got Love specifically, that song is like, I think I tried to embody a lot. You know what I'm saying? That's why the beat change and all of that, you know. Yeah.
Outside of, I guess, the music realm and you having multiple personas, do you sometimes like grapple with both of those and like in a day-to-day life?
Yeah. I'm different people to different people. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you're asking.
With
like,
yourself though, like with yourself,
Yeah.
or like
I'm-
even with your decisions, just like how you said with Summer Fling, you like, nah, I need to focus on me, but you still saying some other things in this third quarter that is like, you just told me
Like
I
I
get
said,
on your nerves in this song.
These are not perfect
Now
answers.
you love me.
These are not perfect answers, man. So like, it really just depends on whatever mood. All these answers I'm giving you right now, I'm in the mood to say these things. I might be in a different mood tomorrow, man. You know, so. All right.
It's this old African proverb that most might not be familiar with, but it is, you just say something like someone walked, like our ancestors crawled so we can walk. We walk so that our sons can run. And they run so that their sons can, you know, drive.
Fly.
Or fly, you know. With that context specifically, and thinking about your different personas, as Dolo and then Anthony, what did Anthony like do? Like, how did you walk? I mean, how did you crawl so that Dolo could walk? Like, were there anything specifically that you went through as like, you know, Anthony before you became Dolo
I mean,
to
yeah.
make the music?
That's the thing. Is like
To
Anthony.
develop.
Anthony is the one that deals with all the real life shit. You know what I'm saying? That's who I was born as. Dolo, he gets to enjoy the fun perks of being the artist. You know what I'm saying? It's an honor when most of my friends now call me Dolo, because like that's who I am out here in LA. That's the persona that I've made for LA. And like I used to say when I first got out here, I feel like every day is a vacation. And that's why, also too, it doesn't necessarily feel like that anymore because like it's just my home now. But like in the sense of like Anthony dealing with all of my life, you know what I'm saying? Like being picked on or whatever, or like dealing with like doing homework, you know what I'm saying, for college, all of those things. Anthony has to deal with real life. Anthony is dealing with real life when he's setting all this stuff up, and then Dolo gets to deal with being the performance. Dolo gets to sit here right now in the interview, you know what I'm saying? Dolo is I definitely say Dolo is Anthony is the adult, Dolo is the teenager, the adolescent, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the difference between those personas if I had to like point out the difference to it, yeah.
Okay, and you're painting the picture of both of them on the songs for sure.
I try to point out more of the difference between the different personas that Dolo has. Anthony plays very little. He plays a little part in the songs more than anything,
Influencing. Okay,
yeah.
Got you. And as we get to like what we're doing now, past, present, and future of the album, still think about another African proverb, like moving forward but looking back.
You good for your African proverb.
Hey brother,
boy.
Look, you inspired me today with the dashiki. I'm looking like Malcolm X, and you looking like I guess Martin. And went to
Something
Africa.
like that shit, yeah.
But just thinking about like cursed. You mentioned that a lot on the project being cursed. You said, skate rink. Skate rink music by far. Shout out to Taj. Very powerful song. So much upbringing on that song. But
did it take you to a place? That's what we was trying to do. Because Taj, he wrote that song years ago, and he gave the song to me recently. I was like, I need this sort of sound for my project. And we were really trying to take people to a place.
Because he mentioned on it, I think he said something like, "08, this is that kind of vibe."
That 08 summer, wake up and play the game shit.
Did he write it then? Or when did he? Wow.
He wrote that shit back in like 2019.
Wow. It feels like timeless. Like listening to it, it put me in a reminiscent vibe of like, I'm having fun with the family, but oh snap, like it's getting real.
Yeah.
It's getting real now.
It gets real.
Was that your intentions with making it, or y'all intentions? I know he wrote it for you a while ago, but did he have any input with it, or like what was your intentions with it?
From what I remember about it, like he was when he wrote the song, I think he wanted to convey that the most, that like he was just trying to put everybody into a time frame of what it was like to come up around that time. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about hanging out with his fellas, you know what I'm saying? Ladies here and there, and then talking about, the skate rink. Like, yeah, like he was really trying to like put us in the position of being a child at that time, or being a teenager at that time. I think with my verse, what I was trying to capture is the same thing, but I was trying to just rap it a little differently, or rap faster, or just speaking specifically about like points in times I remember from going to school in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of one of those things. I think. I
hope it's received well, and like you're getting a lot of love from it, because it's a very fire song. I love it because the replay value is high, but also because of the different themes. Like earlier, I mentioned, you seem to be questioning society. I said you seem to be questioning yourself, like self versus self, like Dolo versus Dolo. And then to me, this phase of the chapter was you questioning God, Yeah. Something very interesting happens on that song for those who haven't heard it yet.
Uncle Jeffrey?
Still on skating rink with the voicemail.
Still on skating
rink with the voicemail. It transitions to Uncle Jeffrey,
yeah.
But can you kind of tell us about like that voicemail?
So the whole voicemail concept throughout the entire album was because I suck at communication. That's one of the things I know that I'm flawed at and I could get way better at. You can ask Shakira.
But what does that mean though? Like
so what it means, or I think what it meant to me is that when I want to convey to people is me, right? So when the album started, it starts off with a voicemail. I didn't pick up the phone. The first song is called Alone. And the chorus goes, I don't pick up the phone, leave me alone.
Yeah.
So by the time it gets to skate rink music, you know what I'm saying? I have a dozen voicemails from many people that left me voicemails throughout the whole album. That was the first time that I actually was calling my mom, leaving her a voicemail. You know what I'm saying? So that was meant to be Dolo. Calling my mom saying, yo, like, I'm not in a good space. This, that, and the third. This is a voicemail that never really happened. I never actually called my mother and said these things, but there were times where I was really feeling those things that were cursed, and that, you know, I think about it often. Like, there's no way the entirety of the family is doing this bad right now, or when somebody else is doing bad, somebody else is doing good, and when I'm doing good, somebody else is doing bad. There was, just me questioning, like, everything.
Everything at that point. And I guess I imagine some of the questions, like, stem from you. It sounded like you moved to Los Angeles. Were you was in Los Angeles at that point?
Yeah, I was in Burbank.
Okay. So you was in Burbank. You was fresh out, still trying to find your way out here. And then, you know, you're like, yo, all of these things are starting to happen, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, then we got Uncle Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Man.
So
what happens, like, I don't know if you mind, but can you share the story? Like, what happens in Uncle Jeffrey that makes you want to have a face-to-face and question God?
So it's the classic trope of the black trauma, I feel like, you know what I'm saying? My Uncle Jeffrey, just for context, he's the uncle that I never met, but he was my grandma Josephine, my great-grandmother Josephine, his son, who went off to Vietnam War. He was drafted to Vietnam, and he was killed in Vietnam. And what I try to do with this song is connect all the dots to why our family may have spiraled out of control off of that event. But it was two events that happened. It was him being killed in action in Vietnam, and his sister, my mother's mother. She died to cancer. That's why I start the song. I ever tell you a story how Uncle Jeffrey got sent off to war? It was Vietnam. He was drafted. He didn't want to go. That's around the time my mama's mother died from cancer, and she sent my great-grandmother in a panic. And then I break down what happens to the rest of my family. Auntie Josie moved to Cali. Uncle Steve hit the bottle. Uncle Derek called a body. Auntie Beverly turned Jehovah's Witness, and she cut off everybody. That was when our family dispersed. You know what I'm saying? And the way my mom, I feel like she used to kind of convey is like, we weren't necessarily close-knit, but like we were a family. We acted more like a family than we do nowadays. So connecting all of that down into us moving to Chicago, you know, that's going to come with gang violence, you know what I'm saying, street shit, whatever. All of my cousins dived into that more than I ever did. And I think that's a testament to at least my father being around. He literally would not let me go outside. It would be at 4 p.m. He like, play the game. And it's like,
protection?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I became such a video gamer. In Chicago, he didn't let me go outside unless I was going to somebody's house. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the difference between me and all my cousins. And I think I wanted to convey that in the song as well. It's like, this is what's happening to my family. You know what I'm saying? And like, I'm just bringing attention to it. Are we cursed? Man, I have no clue. Dudes is threatening my niece at school. There's literally a nigga threatening my niece with a gun at school. It's like, what? I lost, around the time I wrote that song, I lost my sister. And yeah, you know, like just all of these things.
Like she passed away?
She was killed. She was stabbed in Minneapolis.
Oh.
So.
I would like, if you don't mind, just for everyone that's listening, this is real, just to take a moment of silence for everything that you just said and for your sister. So.
I feel that.
Thank you for sharing that, bro, and for using that to the world. To me, like, listening to that song, it kind of, and it's not about me at all, but just showing you how your voice is powerful. You know, I lost my father, but before my father passed, my grandmother passed. So my mother's passed. Grandmother passed, father passed, and then grandfather passed. So I felt the same things that you're describing on the song.
Yeah.
Like, are we cursed? Like, what's happening? So that song made me feel emotional. I'm moved now, you know?
That's what music is supposed to do, man. I knew people would find it relatable, you know what I'm saying? Because that's why I started off even this conversation. Like, this is kind of like, just kind of like the black, it's kind of like the black experience, you know what I'm saying? If you, somebody from the hood, to whatever extent, these are the traumas you go through, you know what I'm saying? And I've said it, it's crazy. Juice dropped the album, and one of my verses on his song called, it was the Marvin Gaye freestyle. It's supposed to be a Marvin Gaye sample. I say, even good ghetto kids experience trauma. So, I wasn't a bad kid, you know what I'm saying?
Powerful.
I wasn't a bad kid, but like, I experienced the trauma. Like, I know what it's like for men beating on women, you know what I'm saying? I saw it. I never did it myself. I saw what it's like though, you know what I'm saying? I know what it's like to be around motherfuckers doing hard drugs, you know what I'm saying?
And that's why I assume you don't do drugs now.
I don't
you don't
touch
smoke,
a drug.
you don't drink.
People tell me that you have to experience these things, and I always said that was false. I could live off other people's experiences. And people tell me I'm just like my Uncle Steve. Well, when Uncle Steve touched the bottle, he became an alcoholic. I'm not drinking. You know what I'm saying? If I'm just like Uncle Steve, I'm not going to drink.
So this is breaking generational curses.
Trying my best
Breaking
to.
generational curses. Listening to what you're saying now with all of those things, man, like Uncle Jeffrey, you know, great-great-grandmother passing away to cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned in the music that like no therapy, some got to rap. Like, you've never been in therapy, right?
I've never been in therapy.
And your family, I'm not sure if they've been in therapy. Like, how do we, you know, we being you and your family in this sense as a community, how have we coped with depression? How have you coped with depression over times and trauma?
Well, shit, my family smoke a lot of weed. Me, I play a lot of video games. I get my dopamine. I'm not perfect. People like to say that I'm like, he's like straight edge. I'm not really straight edge. I have my vices, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's where we find where we're comfortable, you know what I'm saying? I remember when I was a teenager and I was telling my mom, yo, you gotta stop smoking cigarettes. And as an adult, I still want her to stop smoking cigarettes, but I know where she's comfortable, you know what I'm saying? She wants to stop smoking cigarettes now because of her, you know what I'm saying? But where we find comfort, it may not always be the right place, but that's where we found it. So it'll be whether it's smoking weed, me playing too many video games, that's where we've been able to at least sit. But in the topic of therapy, I don't know if my family will be open to therapy. I know damn well I am. You know what I'm saying? And
speaking of, have y'all had conversations about therapy, and did they get to listen to this song, Uncle Jeffrey?
Not therapy specifically, but there has been times where I sat down with my family and trying to talk more on the real subjects, like, yo, this is what we're doing, or yo, we got to stop whooping the kids. And you know, it's dismissive at first. Shut up. Nigga, shut up. What are you talking about? We raised you like this. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's like my mom used to tell me, like, I had to whoop your ass. There was times you was out of control. I remember I wasn't whooping you for a long time, but you didn't start acting right until I whooped your ass. And it's like, all right, mom, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like,
maybe there's some truth in
maybe
that.
there is.
I'm not condoning it, but look.
What I can say is that I tell these dudes, that I tell people in the high tribe all the time, what I can do when I can't, I'm not in the business of repeating myself. I can tell you something once, and if you're like, no, that's not a good idea, fine. What I can do now is lead by example. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't tell me what to do. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's where it kind of comes down to. I know that I'm having an effect on my family. You know what I'm saying? My niece, shout out to her. She's about to graduate this year. I don't know the extent of the effects that I've had on her, but I know that she wants to go to college. I know she wants to do certain things in the weed business, the growing and legalization of weed. And I think that's so dope. You know what I'm saying? When they told me that she was thinking about those things, I was like, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? because motherfuckers in my family really wasn't thinking on that scale, you know.
It's a lot of us that are, you know, a lot of us in our community are incarcerated because of that.
But
Didn't even know, and you know, white people profit off of marginalized communities often. So
that's me leading by example, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was like, I'm moving to California. You know, I'm doing this with my life. I'm not gonna have children at this time. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not gonna be in a relationship. I'm very hard-headed. I like to say I'm headstrong, but I'm very hard-headed, almost to a positive amount. I know what I'm not gonna do and what I will do. Even if I am holding up an appearance for so long, I do know that this is what I want to do with my life, and I'm making it happen, you know, any means. So,
brother, man, wow. Like, I really hope that people took something out of that, and just knowing that, like, it's okay not to know, it's okay to survivor's guilt. It's okay, you know, to be the good kid in the mad city.
I related to that a lot.
Yeah. How so? So it did. Okay, it was a good kid in Mad City.
I always thought that when people said I sounded like Kendrick, so I never take it extremely bad. I always thought it was an honor. Now, make no mistake, I'm not copying Kendrick. You know what I'm saying? There's a difference there. People who know me know the difference. But I know what it's like to be a good kid in a mad ass city. It's a different city, but it's mad and like. It's calm and it's collective, at least to the point where as calm as I try to come off. You know what I'm saying? I get angry as fuck. As calm as I try to come off, this is what I want to portray. This is what I want to say about the situations I've been in coming from Chicago and being in Minnesota for so many years and now living in LA. You know what I'm saying?
Like a sense of truth.
I'm trying to be as honest as possible.
A sense of truth.
Hell yeah.
And I see that in as we close the album, Titan, the last song on the album, it sounds like you have now went from the adolescent to the adult, but the adult has gotten older, and this is when I imagine that the hair got longer and the chest and the muscles came. And the wisdom as he stroke his dreads. As he stroke his dreads.
Yeah. I do my own hair too.
Summer flings. Summer flings.
Summer flings, yo.
But this is I guess this is the resistance of you. This is
the resilience.
The resilience.
For sure.
The resilience.
I think in that song, Titan, what was being conveyed was like, I started off, no matter what it is I do, I'm just destined not to lose. It's not even the idea is, gotta love RP Nipsey Hussle. It's a marathon. All I gotta do is continue on with it and everything will work out. Continue on with it and keep the work up. You know what I'm saying? It's going to, I'm going to reap the fruits of this labor. I know I am. So yeah, that's what that's all about, man. And going into like the second verse was written way before that first verse was ever written. Shout out to Juice for laying down the Caribbean voice in the front, and then shout out to Grace.
That's Juice?
That's Juice.
Wow.
And then that's Grace singing.
Wow.
Yeah. I used everybody on this album, Joe. Shout out to all the people real quick. So shout out to motherfucking Kevin Lives. Shout out to the original Golo. Shout out Papa Juice Almighty. Shout out Dean C. Shout out Grace. Shout out Sid. And shout out Wake and Bake. Shout out Luke Geek. Shout out to all the producers,
yes,
man.
Sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out to Risky Ruger. Man, shout out to everybody who touched this album. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Michaela.
You didn't shout me out. My verse ain't spit on that.
Shout out to Dijon.
I definitely had a height. It might not have been 16, a good 8.
Come on, man.
Maybe 4. I'll be honest.
But no, bringing it back to like the songs. The second verse I wrote way before. It's like, welcome to the New Art Renaissance. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is a renaissance. You know what I'm saying? This is my renaissance. This is my creative burst. This is what I have to offer the world. You know what I'm saying?
And this is the confidence. This is the king that you're standing on.
This is the confidence that I strive towards.
Yeah.
This is what I want.
Yep, got you. This is the confidence. Well, bro, I'm extremely touched, moved, proud of you, man. The guy is on tour right now. Has a tour date the same day the movie drops. The album just dropped. And if this is sophomore year, I am excited for junior, senior, super senior if you're gonna do that.
Who knows?
I'm
Yeah.
excited, man. DoloDuceDuke, man. I'm Dijon McCain. The honor of being here.
Yeah, man.
Love you, brother.
I
Thank you
appreciate
so
your
much,
ass, man. I appreciate your ass a lot. Shout out to the High Tribe. You know what I'm
Tribe
saying?
shirt. Shout out to the tribe.
And then yeah, man. Shit. You know, Baby Bottles. We shooting D&C music video today. So
Baby bottles. Okay.
it's all kind of
The work
shit
don't
going on,
stop.
man. I appreciate
The
you
work
coming
don't
on,
stop.
man.
That's my dick. That my dick. That my dick. Skating on y'all the flicks. Either longboard or your Tony Hawk shit. Or rollerblades. Shock the world, by the way I skate off to this next life phase.